Hello and welcome to this, my video on arithmetic sequences and their applications. My name's Darren from Maths Guru. Really good to see you. Thanks very much for watching the video. Now before you go any further, can you do me the greatest of favour and subscribe to my YouTube channel? I've got about 36 viewers. I know it's a bit sad people want to watch food. Turn off notifications. Trust me, I post videos, I post them daily where I can. If you don't want to know that, that's fine, but just subscribing lets me know that you've watched. A small thing on your part would be huge for me. Seriously, I love recording these videos, but I generally think that nobody ever watches them. If you can make a comment at some point as well, just say, yo, doing a good job, really helpful too. And follow me on this great new thing I think I've heard of, TikTok. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. All right, so as you can see behind me, there are a number of learning objectives. Let's see what it is we're actually going to look at. So by the end of this lesson, I hope you can understand how to apply what an arithmetic sequence is, or at least apply stuff to arithmetic sequences. In the previous lesson, we've looked at what terms are and what a sequence is and how we can go term to term and position to term. And now we're going to sort of build up towards applications. Have your summary book nearby. These notes are all downloadable from mathsguru.com. It's free to sign up. Head over there if you can, and also support if you can. All right, so what else we can do? Know how to find the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. That's going to be also important. If there's going to be exam questions coming up, I can guarantee you they're going to be ones that they are on. Now, I always recap the past learning, and as you can see here, we've been looking at sort of sequences that have the same thing added on or in fact taken away to go from term to term. And so far what we've done is we've gone, well, okay, if I know the third term, I can get to the fourth term. If I know the fourth term, I can get to the fifth term, because you know that rule. If I had the rule sort of 2, or the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, it's really easy to know how to get to the next one, isn't it? Because we've noticed that each of these are going up by 2. So let's sort of add 2 rule to this, all right? So in which case I could add 2 to that, and it gives me 12, and I can add 2 to that, which gives me 14. But what about if I wanted to go on and find, I don't know, the 20th term? Well, yes, ideally I could sit there and go, oh, I'm going to add this, I'm going to keep adding on 2 each time, I can use my fingers. But surely there's got to be a quicker way of doing it, and that's what we're going to deal with in this video. And later on we're going to get to geometric sequences, and after that we're going to get to something called the Fibonacci sequence, and then we are done with this particular module. Right, let's see. So how to find a term which isn't closer to ones we've been given. Long title. Now what I mean is, I don't want to keep going term to term to term. I want to try and find one a bit later on. Yes, we know that there's something called the common difference. Yes, now you're going to say, what on earth is the common difference? Well, we use the letter D in maths to stand for the number that it goes up by. Now the common difference only relates to sequences where we add or take away. So a common difference might be 2, for example. Well, I know that that's because that's positive. It means they're going to go up by 2. So for example, if I had the number 10, 12, 14 and 16, that there would have a common difference of 2. Have you written that in your summary book? If you haven't, write it in, because these are the things that trip people up. What else could have a common difference of 2? I don't know, well, let's start 100. And 102, and 104, and 106. These all have common differences of 2. What about if I had a common difference of -3? Now in that situation, that means that we're going to go down by 3 on each case. So if I have 10, 7, 4, 1, -2, and so we go on. Each of those we've taken 3 away, and we notice that it's constant. Right? In the previous video, what did we look at? We looked at that they are linear. All right, so again, my arm right way for the camera. They are linear. They'll either go up or they'll go down. But let's try and see whether we can now find what we call the nth term. Now, I like the idea of nth because n stands for any number. See what I did there? N, in, yeah, no, I don't get out often, all right? I'm forever sitting in here doing my lessons. But if you can, remember, subscribe to YouTube and just let me know you're watching. Leave a comment. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, well, I've got T1, T2, T3, T4, and T5. So what I mean is we've got T1, which is the number 2, T2 is the number 4, T3 is the number 6, T4 is the number 8, and so we go on. This number here is really important. I mean, it's our first term. Now in maths, we tend to use the letter A to stand for our first term, and that's actually a bit of a lie. Sequences don't really start anywhere, right? Because they can go backwards, they can go forwards. But in this situation, we've said, well, okay, let number 2 be the first number we're interested in, our first term. And again, that's why we call it T1. Although again, I think I've said in previous videos, be careful, because in general, 3, 4, what do we have? We use V0 and N0 and all sorts of zeros, but the context of the question is really important. So T2 equals 1. So in this situation, we would say, well, let A equals 2. Right, so our first term is 2. So looking at that, what I'm going to say is, well, my T1 was 2. And you're going to say, how many times are you going to say that in one video? I know, I'm getting there. T2, how do we get to T2? Well, we took the first term and we added 2 on, didn't we? Because we noticed that the rule was plus 2. So to get to my second term, I did 2 plus 2, which was 4, obviously. How did I get to my third term? Well, you're going to say, took my second term and add 2. I know, but I'm going to say to you now, let's imagine we're starting at our first term. How do we start at this number 2 and get all the way to our third term? And you're going to say, well, add 4. I am. Yes, that's right, but I want to try and do it in terms of my common difference. So in that case, I'm going to add 2 and add 2 again. And what about T4? How do I go from my first term, which is 2, all the way to 8? I do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Now I can keep going on, but I want you to start noticing this. How many plus 2's have I got there? How many plus 2's have I got there? How many plus 2's have I got here? Well, this then is the same as 2 plus 1 lot of 2, right? So I did 1 lot of plus 2. This one here is 2, my first term, plus 2 lots of 2. And here I've got 2 plus 3 lots of 2. And you're going to say, well, okay, so my T5 is going to be 2 plus 4 lots of 2. And you're going to say, okay, yeah. When the point is this. What did you notice about this little number here, 2, and that number there? What about 3 to 2, 4 to 3, 5 to 4? They're always one less. So what I'm saying is that if I wanted to find any number in my sequence, and that's n, so if I know the position of this number, if I wanted the 50th number, the 100th number, I always seem to start with my first number. So in this situation, it's going to be 2, plus, well, whatever this lower value here, that 5 turned to a 4. So I'm going to take the value of n and minus 1, and I'm going to times that by the value of 2. Now again, can we make this even simpler? What was this value here? What was that 2? Well, it was my first term. It was the number we were starting with. Did we say we could come up with that in any other way? Well, yeah, we said let's call that a. So that could become a plus n minus 1. I'm just copying down this there. And where on earth did this times by 2 come from? My common difference. If you remember, my value of d is my common difference. And so I can actually multiply that by d, and lo and behold, there we are. We've just come up with a rule to be able to go to find the nth term of any arithmetic sequence. You can say, what? Well, there we go. And again, these notes are downloadable from mathsguru.com, all free to sign up. All right, so if we have an arithmetic sequence, the rule is to get to my nth term, I'm going to do a plus n minus 1 times d. And you're going to say, well, what does that actually mean? So let's say we have a first term of a sequence of 3, and let's have a common difference of 4. All right, so what that means is that I'm going to start at 3, and I'm going to go 4, and add on 4, and add on 4 each single time. Now you're going to try and say, well, okay, so I could write my sequence out and go 3, and then my next number I'm going to add 4 onto that is going to give me 7, and add 4 onto that is going to give me 11 and 15, and I could keep going the long way, but that seems nuts. What if I wanted t 20? Now again, with maths it's about pattern spotting. What do we notice about this little number here? Well, if we compare it to our formula, which was t of n equals a plus n minus 1 times d. I'm going to write underneath here t of 20. What do you notice? The n has been replaced with the 20. So that's actually what you do in maths. Where the n has been replaced in the 20 on the formula, everywhere you see an n is going to become that 20. So this n here, I can now write as brackets as 20 minus 1. Oh, a. I've got to start for now. What is this a value? It's my first term. Did they give me that in the question? Of course they did. I told you that a was 3. So that's going to become 3 plus, I just got to find the value of d. What is my value of d? My common difference of 4. Now, There are a lot of you out there saying, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that in my head? Well, you don't need to do it in your head. Why? Because I'm going to use my calculator. Now, I know that's covered up part of my screen, and I know my calculator's on here with some previous value. For those of you who are using a ClassPad, the functionality is exactly the same. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to stick with the TI Inspire, but where they're different, I will let you know. So let me go. What I'm going to do, 3 plus, open brackets, he says, not typing anything, 3 plus, open brackets, 20 minus 1. Yes, I can do that in my head, I know, but why would I do that just in case I make a mistake? And there we go. In that situation, I know that my 20th number, if I was to keep continuing it over and over and over, would in fact be 79. My mind is exploding because this stuff is amazing. So I'm going to leave my calculator on the screen and let's see what happens here. Right, what have we got? We got find T 30. Well, that's okay. I can do that now. It's telling me it's an arithmetic sequence. So the question here is saying it's an arithmetic sequence. So I'm going to write down my formula for my arithmetic sequence, a plus n minus 1 times d. Now I know a lot of you lads out there are going, I'm not doing that. It's way too hard. I don't need to write that. That's just easy. Write it down. In an exam, if I was setting you an exam, I'd be giving you 1 mark for writing that down. So, seems to be worthwhile. So what have I got here? Now underneath I want t of 30 is equal to A, my first term. Did they give me my first term? Yep, it's 21. Plus n. Oh, n? Well, again, it's this 30. Minus 1 times d, my common difference. Well, hold on a moment. How do I get my common difference? We'll do the second term minus the first term. So my common difference is going to be 18 minus 21, which gives me minus 3. Now, again, I'm going to put that in brackets as a minus 3. I don't want to miss that minus sign. My brain is pre-programmed to miss the minus sign. The open bracket there is helpful. How am I going to do this? Well, of course, I'm just going to bang it in my calculator. So 21 plus 30 minus 1 times, and in brackets, oops, minus 3, enter, equals minus 66. Ka-ching. Thank you very much. See, nice and easy when we're getting to find T35 in the following sequence. T35, we've got this now, so what is it? T of m is equal to A plus n minus 1 times d. So A, what's A? My first term, in this situation they've told me it's 18, plus, I wanted to write my T35 down there. Why? Because it's going to give me my value of n. Right, value of n there is 35, minus 1 times my common difference. Don't know what my common difference is? Yes, we do, because my common difference is given by the second term, minus the first term. Now, in many cases, the question may even give you the common difference. 21 minus 18 is 3. So in this situation, I'm going to just multiply that by 3. How am I going to do this? I got my calculator. Why would I make these things harder? 18 plus 35 minus 1. How am I going to multiply that by 3, if you would be so kind? And so I know that the 35th number, if I was to write them all out in this, would be 120. Now, things get a little bit more complicated. They're not giving me a sequence. Oh my goodness. Find the 40th term. Now notice what they've done here. They haven't given me the notation, but I know now that I can write that out as t of 40. I want the 40th term in an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so I now know that that's going to be given by a plus n minus 1 times d that starts at 11. I've got this. A is equal to 11 and has a common difference of 8, so d equals 8. Have I got everything I need? I should cocoa. So let me just write up here my formula because I don't want to get it wrong. A plus n minus 1 times d. The more you write the formula out, the better you're going to be because your brain will automatically remember it. Muscle memory. A is 11 plus, where to get my value of n? There it is, 40, minus 1 times d, which is 8. I've still got my calculator loaded, so 11 plus 40 minus 1 times by 8 gives me 323. Ka-ching. Thank you very much. All right, now this is where we can start to apply this stuff. And again, the application is the bits that gets people really, really confused. Right, the hire of a car costs $180 for the first day. Let me think. We're going to do something that's going to have t of n equals a plus n minus 1 times d. So whenever I do these questions, I'm looking for what is the value of a and what is the value of d. Let me think. The question just said the first day. And what does the letter A stand for? The first term. They've interchanged a word. So my car cost is $180. So my A is $180 and $150 for each extra day. Now again, I don't think any of you have hired a car, but what that means is the first day you walk in, you're going to pay 180 bucks. The next day you're going to pay $150 more, the next day another 150, the next day another 150. So there is my common difference. That's what it's going up by each day. So D in that situation would be plus 150. I'm adding it on. How much would it cost to hire the car for 7 days? Wonder what value they give me there. What letter are they giving me there? What do I, oh, N. So they're asking me to find T of 7. So A, 180 plus N, 7 minus 1, times by my common difference of $150, which gives me 180. I've realized that I've actually covered up part of my screen again. I keep doing that with my calculator. Sorry guys, I'm trying to try some new software to get this working. What did that come out to be? $1,080. Ka-ching. Result. There's part A. Find a rule for the cost of hiring the car for N days. Well, all they're saying to you there is I don't know the value of N. So in this situation, I don't know the value of N, but my rule is still going to be created with A plus N minus 1 times D. Okay, so my value of A is going to be 180. I don't need to change anything. That's going to stay as N if I want a rule, plus N minus 1 times, do I know my common difference? Absolutely do. My common difference is 150. Now, lots of people would try and leave that there, but the calculator's actually asking you, or the question's actually asking you to multiply that out. Now, what I can do here is multiply that bracket out. So that's 180. N times 150 is 150N. Minus 1 times 150 is minus 150. So I'm multiplying up my brackets. There we go. So what have I got here? 180 plus 150N minus 150, well, I can do 180 minus 150, which gives me 30. So if I write this out again, I'm going to get 150N minus 30. There we go. So what it's saying there is I can multiply each day by $150 and take away 30. And I'm going to leave that for you to try and decide, does that make sense? Why would I be doing that? All right. Hopefully you'll work it out, but that's actually the question answered. Now, this is sort of the end of this video, but in the previous video, I wanted to show you stuff. I wanted to show you a different way of doing something on your calculator, and that's creating a sequence. And what I'm going to do is actually let's create this hire car sequence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Control Doc, and I'm going to do a list and spreadsheet. And obviously for the ClassPad, you can actually load up your sheets, I believe. So here I'm going to do days, and here I'm going to do cost. All right, so let me see, there's 1, 2, oh no, he's doing Q to 1. No, try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 days. Let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 days. Right, how are we going to do this? So what I do is when I've got my first term, I'm just going to put it here as 180. Now for each additional day, I'm going to add on $150. Yes? So what I need to do here is go equals. Now those of you who are used to Excel will go, oh yeah, that's starting a formula. And what I normally do is put a cell reference. Now if you look at where 180 is, it's in the B column and the 1 row. So what I say is equals B1 plus 150. So what that's going to do is now take that previous value and add 150. And obviously I don't want to keep repeating that. I don't want to say, well, equals B2 plus 150. There must be an easier way of doing it. So I can go up, and what I do now is I go Menu, Data, Fill. Now nothing seems to have happened until I drag my cursor down, and you'll see a dotted box. Now as soon as I want to fill that, so if I go down to the number 5 and hit enter, oh my goodness, ka-ching, there we go. I have now filled in my formula. And in fact, I can keep repeating that. If I wanted to add more numbers, I can do that as well. Now I do know the ClassPad has an awesome way of doing sequences, all right? It actually has a sequence generator in there. I'm probably going to hit that in a different video if you want. But again, if I wanted to go back to a more easy one, so let's just do numbers here, like I did in the previous. If I wanted to go, say, the number 7, and I wanted to keep adding on 5, I'm going to go equals. I want the cell reference of the one before. So what column is it in? And what row is it in? So it's in C1. So I'm going to do C1, and let's add 5 on. There we go. And remember, go back up to the cell you want to start. Menu, Data, Fill. Drag it down to where you want to fill it. So let's imagine I want to go all the way down to there. And there we go, it will keep doing that for you. 6, 7, 8. And again, if I wanted to, I can now go Control, Doc, data and statistics, they're all over the place. Let's do the days along the bottom, and let's do our cost up the side. Let's see whether it will do that one for me. Wow! And there we go, we've got a nice linear relationship. Why is it linear? Yep, because it's an arithmetic progression. Oh, that was a good lesson. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it has been useful. There are many more videos to come. If you can, again, subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn off notifications if you want to. It just lets me know that you've been watching, and follow me on TikTok. Leave a message below. Hopefully I'll see you in another video. If not, you take very good care of yourselves. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.